look at the 7 points to a classic boxing stance. Now, your stance is your foundation. Everything is going to come out of your stance. Your offense, your defense, counterpunching, footwork, head movement. If you have a poor stance, everything is going to fall apart. So, how do we make sure that our foundation is solid? It starts from the ground up. So let's take a look at what our feet are supposed to be doing. If you are a right-handed fighter or an orthodox fighter, you're going to have your left foot forward. If you're a southpaw or a lefty, your right foot's going to be forward. So from a neutral stance, and it's easy because we have the lines on the mat. So if you draw a line on the floor, it'll be very helpful. From that neutral stance, I want to take a step forward with my lead leg. If you notice, I'm not standing on the line, so I'm not too bladed, and I didn't step out to being too square. I took a natural step forward, and now I have one foot on this side of the line and one foot on this side of the line. All right, my front foot can be pointing straight, or it can be slightly turned in. My back foot should be pointing off at an angle, almost a 45-degree angle. You can go 90 degrees. I prefer to go about 45-degree angle. So if you notice where my feet are, there's a line in between my legs, and my feet are pointing in this direction. So I have a good balanced foundation. All right? If you look at me from the side, I'm in this position. My feet are here. Again, not too bladed, where I'm completely turned to the side, and I'm not completely square to my opponent. I step forward, my front foot is pointing at 12 o'clock or slightly turned in. My back foot is pointing at 2 or 3 o'clock. I'm in this position. Oftentimes what I do with my students when they first take up their foot position is I'll come by and I'll push them. If their feet are too narrow, they're going to take a step back. All right, then they're going to adopt a more balanced base, right? So you want to make sure that your feet are nice and balanced. You should feel comfortable in this position. That's point one. Now, point two, we want to bend our knees. So I'm going to make sure that I bend my knees. That's another thing when I push my clients, it helps them to do. Because if you're standing too tall and I push you, you're going to go over. But remember, this is boxing. We're not just pushing people, we're punching people. And if you can't maintain your stance and balance when somebody just gives you a little shove, then we need to make some adjustments to your lower body, your foot position, and bending your knees. So, point one, feet in the proper position. All right, point two, make sure our knees are bent. Our next step, we're going to bring our arms in and we're going to bring our hands up to our cheek level. So with my hands, anywhere between my cheeks and my temples, in this position. You notice me from the side, I'm in this position. My hands are here, hands up to my face. Step four is my elbows are going to be in tight. So if you notice my elbows, they're tight to my body. Looking at me from the side, you see they're in front of my body and tight, not out here. I see this oftentimes with new clients. Their arms are going to be out here, their hands are up, and their elbows are flared out. That leaves your body exposed. I want my elbows tight to my body. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck my chin. So I don't want my head up, I want to tilt my chin down. So my chin is tilted down, and I'm actually looking through my eyebrows almost, looking through the top of my eyes. So I'm in this position. So we have feet in the proper position at 12 and 2, my knees bent, my hands on my face, nice and high, my elbows in tight. Point 5 is I tuck my chin. What's the next one? I'm going to sit down. So I'm going to bend at the waist slightly. I'm going to sit down. Again, my knees are bent, but I could be standing too tall. I want to make sure that slight bend at the waist. I want to sit down inside my stance. Now I can use my legs. I feel grounded. I can generate more power with my hips and my whole body. And the last thing I want to do is I want to ensure that my head is moving slightly. So I'm going to be swaying side to side. When we talk about head movement, there are different head slots and head positions, and your head is going to move through those. So I could start off just going from side to side. I could bend my knees, I could go under, and I can just make small movements with my head in this position. So now you have a good boxing stance. Your feet are in their correct position. You're not too bladed. You're not too square. Front foot is pointing around 12 o'clock. Back foot is pointing off at 2 o'clock. Your knees are bent. Your hands are high and your elbows are in tight. Your chin is down. You're sitting down inside your stance. Nice slight bend at the waist. And now you're going to move your head slightly from side to side, just swaying inside your stance. Those are the 7 points to a good boxing stance. If you work hard and develop that foundation, you're well on your way to developing a good boxing game.
You got it, you got it, you got it, you got it. I know you got